ROBOTNIK'S Productions.
Flashback to 1993. Gamers around the world were eagerly waiting for the next main installment of the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Sonic CD had been released in September, but hardly anyone owned a Mega CD. Sonic 3 wouldn't be ready until 1994, so Sega had no Sonic release for the 93 Christmas season. They needed to tide people over. That's why they released two spin-off games for the Mega Drive/Genesis: Sonic Spinball and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. The latter is a westernized version of the Japanese puzzle game Puyo Puyo, developed by Compile.
I didn't even hear about this game at the time. It wasn't until I got my hands on the Sonic Mega Collection Plus on the PlayStation 2 that I learned about it.
I've never been great at puzzle games, so Mean Bean never kept my interest for long. The same goes for the Game Gear version, which is also included in the compilation and was released shortly after the 16-bit game. Europe even got a Master System port in July of '94, but I've never played that version.
So today I'm going to take a deeper look at the Mega Drive and Game Gear ports. Is it possible for me to get into these games, or do I have to admit that puzzle games just aren't my thing? Join me on a journey full of mean machines and bodacious beans.
GFrom, the gamer, the legend, he's come to show you the way in this world of games. GFrom Reviews.
Dr. Robotnik is at it again. This time he's capturing the citizens of Beanville. With his Mean Bean steaming machine, he turns all the beautiful beans into robots. This bean robot army is supposed to rid the world of fun and joy. That guy must be fun at parties. He sends his henchbots to gather the beans in dark dungeons. There's only one bean who can stop them. One legume to rule them all.
Yeah, Sonic is nowhere to be seen in this game. He's not even mentioned. Instead, let me introduce Has-Been. Yeah, Has-Been. Great pun. I've been thinking about similar puns, but it's been so hard.
We don't really learn anything about this character. He just dances around with glee. I don't know why he's gleeful, but you have to admire that energy. With that kind of confidence, you can do anything. Similar to Tetris, we have falling blocks, or in this case falling beans, that always come in pairs. These fall from the top, big surprise there. On their way down you can move them left or right and rotate them in any direction. Also you can make them drop faster. The goal is to combine 4 beans of the same color to make them disappear. This causes everything above to drop, which can be used for chain combos. Performing combos sends so-called refugee beans to the opponent. These can only be removed by completing a match right next to them. If the beans reach over the top, the game is lost.
Sounds simple enough. Let's try it.
There are 3 different modes on the Mega Drive. In exercise mode you can pick one of 3 difficulty settings and just practice the game. And don't worry, it's just for training, even though exercise mode sounds like a Richard Simmons workout video from this era. So, exercise mode. I didn't really do that, but I jumped into the scenario mode right away. There are 4 difficulty settings to choose from. Since I don't remember ever getting past stage 3, I started with easy. First you see a picture of your opponent followed by a short monologue. This guy is called Arms. Who the hell is Arms? On the first stage the beans drop very slowly and you have plenty of time to plan your moves. Even though I wasn't too familiar with the gameplay, I managed to get a sweet triple combo which pretty much annihilated Arms after 84 seconds. You get a short and sweet password after each level. That's helpful because the game has no save feature. Frankly drops the beans very fast, which stresses me out a bit. Still, one triple combo was enough to beat him. This guy is called Humpty. Why do I feel like doing the Humpty Hump all of a sudden? Shock G, rest in peace. He neatly organizes his beans with almost no combos, which makes him an easy target. Well, excuse me, Humpty. Next up is Coconuts. Hey, wait a minute, I remember this guy. And now that I think of it, I remember those 2 from the opening too. They're all from The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I loved that show as a kid. Haven't seen it in over 25 years though.
But who are all these other robots? I don't remember them from the show.
Well, it turns out all of them were in the pilot episode, which I have no recollection of ever seeing. So this marks the first and only game based on the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Anyway, Coconut quickly builds 2 towers on each side. He managed to get a bunch of combos and I had trouble keeping up, resulting in my first game over. Here you can enter your name for the high score list. Thankfully, you get unlimited continues, so let's keep going. Davy Sprocket gets rid of his beans pretty fast, which often leads to combos. The beans fall a little quicker than before, which is also indicated by the faster music. It's still pretty slow though. It took me one try here, but I beat him the next time. Squeal kinda reminds me of Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants with a pig nose.
Also gut, Spitzkopf. Deine Zeit läuft ab.
Du nennst mich Spitzkopf?
He tries to keep his field as low as possible. By now I started to get the hang of it, purposely planning ahead for maximum combos. Feels really satisfying to blast that douche with refugee beans. Dynamite tries to get big combos, which makes him a tough foe. Still got him on my first try. Hey, there's Grounder again. He also drops his beans faster, but he was no match for me. Spike makes a bunch of short combos, but then he choked. Sir F Fuzzy Logic was the first guy that gave me grief. He makes towers with short combos. The beans fall faster again, and this was very stressful for me. You don't have much time to think and react. It took a while for me to get the hang of it. I lost 3 times before I finally beat him. Dragon Breath looks like a knockoff of Bebop from the Turtles. He builds combos on the side and for some reason he makes the ground shake. Doesn't affect anything as far as I can tell, and it didn't help him because I beat him in no time. Scratch is another series regular. He can set up large combos pretty quickly, and this was a tough battle. By far the longest on this particular run. After beating 12 henchbots, you finally get to encounter the Mad Doctor himself. Robotnik is pissed. I expected this to be a lot harder, but I beat him on the first try. Everything explodes and we get to see the cast. Aw, look how happy Has-Been is. Such a nice little fella. After the credits, the game suggests you try normal, and that's what I did. Easy mode was kind of a joke for the most part, as only stage 10 gave me real trouble. On normal, every stage goes a little faster than on easy. And just like when I played this game in the mid-2000s, I got my ass handed to me on stage 2. After 2 game overs, I finally moved on. The AI is a little smarter on this setting, and it took me quite a while to beat Humpty. I felt confident I would beat the game as easily as before, and it worked out pretty well until I got to Grounder. The beans fall like rain, and his combos kicked my ass to the game over screen 3 times. The same thing happened with Spike. Oddly enough, I beat stage 10 on the first try. Stage 11 almost gave me a heart attack. My brain isn't used to such quick thinking. But with a lot of luck, I got a major combo that filled the entire screen. Look how fast these beans fall in the last stage. It's insane. Took me 4 attempts to beat him.
All in all, this mode wasn't as hard as I remembered. I feel I get better with each round and it's strangely addictive.
Let's try hard level. Well, okay, if you say so. Hard mode turns up the speed dial even more, but coming from the normal final boss, it feels slow. Of course, the AI is better again. I got my first headaches on stage 3, first losing a round and then battling it out for almost 5 minutes. That's exhausting. Damn, if it's already this hectic in stage 5, how bad will it get later? This dude got me over and over and over again. I couldn't beat any of the next guys on the first try until I got to Grounder. You just have to keep trying. Spike got me twice and the third round was the longest yet with 377 seconds. By some miracle I got stage 10 on the first try but got murdered on 11. It was brutal. One mistake can mean your life and more importantly your progress in this game. The final boss is sick. There's almost no skill involved because there's pretty much no time to react. Getting the beans to the right row while getting the preferred position in this short time span is a miracle if I've ever seen one. Sometimes you just have to watch the world burn in front of you. I made it somehow, but I'd say it was more luck than anything. This shit can't be planned. Let's try hardest level? You gotta be kidding me. You know the drill. Faster stages, improved AI. Same phenomenon here. Because of the insane speed of the last levels I played, this feels like a slog. But compare it to the other settings. The difference is clear as day. My journey was similar. I first got problems in stage 3 and then in 5. Dynamite and Grounder were particularly frustrating, but I also couldn't get any decent combos. But nothing could prepare me for stage 10. I attempted this level for over 40 minutes straight without without ever getting near a victory. A day later I returned and eventually got it with one of the best combos I got on this run. Holy crap, this was some intense shit. Oddly enough, I got stage 11 on my first try within 39 seconds. I wish it was just skill, but you also have to get the right beans at the right time, so there's that. But now, on to the final level on the hardest mode. The stage hasn't even started and my brain is already exploding. Oh my god, look at this. How am I? Ugh. Sure enough, it was hell on earth. Robotnik's a real asshole. But, and I can't believe I can finally say this, I beat him on the hardest difficulty. I feel like I've run a marathon. I'm so tired, yet so full of adrenaline at the same time. Coming down from that high, what a ride. Now all that was missing was the 1P versus 2P mode. I got someone to play with me who had never played it before. We started with the exercise mode and here I got a big bean that I had never seen. It fell down at random and erased 2 entire rows. It's exclusive to the exercise mode, however. Anyway, in 2-player mode you can both pick different speeds, but we both started with the slowest setting.
You know that feeling when you just know you'll win because you have so much experience? I had that feeling and I just wanted to show off my mad combo skills. Take a fucking guess what happened.
Yep, I lost. Big time. That's what happens when you're too cocky. What an embarrassment. I got laughed at, sure, but I deserved it. Always meet your opponents with respect. That's what I learned from this fiasco.
Now that we've seen everything the Mega Drive version has to offer, I want to take a look at the Game Gear version, which is not surprisingly based on the Game Gear port of Puyo Puyo. So let's get ready for some crazy 8-bit bean action.
The basic premise is the same. It just looks worse, which is expected due to the technical limitations of the portable system. Robotnik looks like a grumpy leprechaun. As you can see on this very basic menu screen, there are old and new modes. Gear to Gear would let you connect 2 systems for multiplayer purposes, but I'm afraid that won't be possible on the PS2. Exercise mode is pretty much what we got last time. Again, I jumped straight into scenario mode. There are no difficulty settings, so I don't know what to expect. Probably just the normal mode. Well, it sure feels like it. The visuals are watered down, but the gameplay is exactly the same. I'm not 100% certain about this, but I feel the controls are a bit delayed. At least that's what I feel coming from hours upon hours with the Mega Drive game. Also, it took way longer to beat the first guy. I never ran at risk of losing, it's just that he wouldn't lose either. The same can be said for the next 2 bosses. I got my first game over on level 5, but you also get unlimited continues here, so it's all good. Stage 6 gave me a lot of trouble, but not as much as stage 8. It took me half an hour and over 15 attempts. Grounder is so cruel. Stage 10 and 12 were pretty tough as well. Due to the delay, I find it much harder to get the beans where I want them to land on these higher levels. So again, a lot of luck is required to make it further. Look at Robotnik, that doofus. To my surprise, I beat him within 5 minutes. I did not expect that. So overall, I feel this game is definitely harder than the Mega Drive's easy and normal mode. It sure is more frustrating. The later stages are ridiculously difficult, but as we just saw, not impossible.
What makes this port stand out is the puzzle mode.
A puzzle mode in a puzzle game, go figure. You have to solve 30 different so-called lessons. As if this is the Sonic version of those educational Nintendo games like Mario teaches typing. It starts easy enough. Eliminate all red beans. No problem. Eliminate 10 beans at a time. Sure thing. Eliminate 3 waves of beans. I can do that. Of the 30 challenges, I found most of them to be pretty easy. Some had me scratching my head in confusion though. Let 10 pairs drop in. That one was a bit tough, also because the order of colors is completely random, making it more based on luck than anything. The first stage that gave me real trouble was lesson 9. You're not used to thinking this way in scenario mode. I had the most trouble with lesson 11. I sat here for almost half an hour and couldn't get it right. Every time I thought I had it, there was some factor I hadn't calculated right. It started pissing me off. Same goes for lesson 17. It looks easy, but it's very specific what you have to do. Eliminate 18 waves of beans? How the hell am I supposed to do that? My brain isn't capable of such complex thinking. Ha! I'm such a genius. bow down for the almighty GFrom and his super brain. Well, my brain isn't that super because it took me an eternity to figure out how to wipe out 18 beans at a time with just 2 colors. In general, I can say the last 4 lessons really tested my patience. But I kind of felt like Einstein's long-lost adopted great-grandchild after beating the entire thing. The reward is a very brief cutscene. Quit smirking and start working. Sick. Bro, you could be a rapper. Oh, wait. Puzzle mode is a great addition that adds variety, and I wish it was included on the Mega Drive. The music and sound in general is pretty good. Both versions share sounds and songs, but as Captain Obvious would most certainly tell you, they sound much better on Mega Drive. The audio on Game Gear is adequate for what it is, but it's nothing spectacular, and some of the high pitches are a little hurtful to the ears. In puzzle mode, I got sick of the music right away. On Mega Drive, it's so satisfying to hear yippee after performing combos. On the other hand, I automatically get nervous when I hear yeehaw. The same goes for the music that comes up when you're about to lose. Great stuff. The music doesn't sound like any other Sonic game that came before, but still has that rocky Mega Drive flair to it. In scenario mode, we only get to hear 3 different tracks in total during gameplay, 2 of which I find just okay.
But there are enough bangers for a top list, so without further ado, here are my top 3 songs from Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Number 3. This track is synonymous with this game because it's the one you hear the most. Whether it's the slow version or it gets faster, it's a great listen from start to finish, and strangely, never gets boring for me. Number 2. In exercise mode, we get an upbeat and motivating track with a catchy and fun melody. I mean, don't you want to do a big 90s workout right now? I wish we could hear it in scenario mode. This is classic Mega Drive goodness. Number 1. This track is the shit. It's like I'm at a metal show. It's brutal and it kind of stresses me out, honestly. At the same time, it gives me such an adrenaline rush that I just want to shove those beans down my opponent's throat. Weird fetish, I know.
Let's wrap this bag of beans up.
Both the Mega Drive and Game Gear ports are strangely addicting. That's because Puyo Puyo is a fun game in and of itself. The cosmetic changes and addition of Sonic characters make them more relatable to me, cause in all honesty, I probably would have never played either of them if they weren't part of the early history of the Blue Blur. On the Mega Drive, the learning curve can be quite steep depending on the difficulty setting. I prefer a medium speed because this later shit is just too damn fast. I prefer to win by strategy rather than luck and insane reflexes. The computer blasting you with refugee beans caused some infuriating moments, especially when you thought you were doing okay. The presentation is solid and I like how Robotnik is animated. I find the character introductions to be lacking though. They just look weird to me. The pictures of the opponents during gameplay are quite funny and add a bit of charm. Sadly, we only get one background for the entirety of the game. More variety would have been nice. This way it all feels very samey, which can make the experience feel monotonous after a while. On Game Gear, we at least get 2 different backgrounds. The visuals here are very basic and the character models looked ridiculous. But isn't this a fun kind of ridiculous? I think so. When it comes to variety, this port has the upper hand due to the puzzle mode. Still, due to some awful music and delayed controls, I see this as the inferior port. It's fine for what it is, but you're not really missing much if you just stick to the better looking 16 bits.
I kinda missed out on this game as a kid and I don't know if I would have played it much. Puzzle games just weren't my thing.
Now I have a lot of experience with it and I can honestly say that I enjoyed the game way more than I expected. I got over 8 hours of footage on the Mega Drive game alone and I didn't even record everything. It was kind of hard to stop. Something pulled me back. I even dreamed of colorful falling beans once, so I guess the game does something right. It's just so rewarding to notice that you're getting better and better, getting combos you didn't even think were possible on your first attempts. Where do I rank this game among the Sonic games I've reviewed so far? Should I even rank it? I don't know if this will bite me in the ass later, but I'm including it and putting it in the middle. Of course it can't compete with the main entries that came before, but I enjoyed it more than the 8-bit games. You can play the Mega Drive version on the Switch Online Expansion Pack service if that's something you spend your hard-earned cash on. There is also a game called Kirby's Avalanche, which is basically Puyo Puyo on Super Nintendo.
Do I recommend Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine? Well, yeah, but only if you're into puzzle games. Regular Sonic fans can skip it without missing much, but maybe there's a chance you'll get sucked into the game as much as I was. I regret nothing.
Hey everyone, this is GFrom. Thank you so much for watching episode 9 of season 2. Feel free to rate, comment, subscribe and follow me on Instagram. I'll see you later. Have a nice day.